Hold on, here we go.
What's up, 450?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good, brother.
Can't complain, man. Just one of those Monday mornings, man, where it's like, you know, sometimes you got to take advantage of thought processes that are going through your mind and just, you know, capitalize off that with good conversation whenever you can, you know.
I
So
understand.
what we've been talking about this morning, and we got some some feedback from another one of the BSSP members, BJ, Homeboy Tactical. Shout out Homeboy Tactical. Um, but we're trying to just get some thoughts, man. And the topic has been, well, the conversation starter has been the 50 Cent comment about Dr. Dre's divorced his wife, right? And the initial comment on 50 Cent, I don't know if you heard it or saw it, my bad, where he said, man, these, and I'm not going to use the word, but these itches, these bees
Mhm.
out here crazy, you know, how you going to claim $2 million a month in child support alimony or whatever. Dr. Dre's then daughter uh, chimed in and went at 50 Cent for calling her mom out of her name, but
Mm.
also, speaking on the situation, et cetera, et cetera. So, um, Dr. Dre is the king of gangster rap. The Godfather of the gangster rap, as a lot of people call him. So who with those same types of words, um, as some women would call it, objectifying women and degrading women by using those types of words, and it's okay, right? As long as there's money being made. So the question is 50 Cent wrong for using that sort of verbiage or that language to, you know, towards women in general, but, towards Dr. Dre's wife? Rick says that, his thought on it is that it wasn't necessarily directed at her. He didn't say, hey, yo, this B word,
Right.
is such and such. So your thoughts, your opinion.
Well, I guess with because I guess the question is more not just about those guys specifically, but correct me. I just want to make sure I'm clear in answering the question. The exact question that you're asking is, what do I feel about people using the word bitch, or
Does
just
would Dr. Dre have any room to stand about getting offended on that? And then as culture, if we're standing up for Dr. Dre's wife, do we have a right to be like, yo, 50, what's wrong with you, man? What do you know what I'm saying? Like, is there any space for that?
But you got to add that his daughter did reply to 50.
Yeah, his daughter did reply to 50. Was his daughter correct in standing up for mom in that aspect of it?
all right? So I guess let me break down each question and answer that.
Yeah.
Let me itemize it. That's just for me, so I can keep
Mhm.
clear. You know what I'm saying? But was she wrong for defending her mom? She felt being attacked. I don't think no one would not defend their mother for if they felt like they're being attacked. Um, now this is where it gets funky because the daughter, 50 Cent, I don't think neither one of those people really have a true stake in that conversation between Dre and his former wife, as far as what is owed to her. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's between that man and his wife, or, I guess about to be ex-wife, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I think the daughter's gonna chime in. Now, 50 saying, hey, these bitches be acting crazy. I'm a person that, when I get into communicating with different people about things and disagreeing and shit like that, I really don't like when people get hung up if I use the wrong one word or verbiage. You know what I'm saying? You lose focus on the content of what I'm trying to actually communicate. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm big on that. And I think that to me is a scapegoat for a lot of people when it comes to
Your phone's ringing, and I think it's causing you to.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Hold on. Let me shut that down real quick. And then I think it messes the audio for 2 seconds.
You good?
Yeah, you
Okay,
back.
we good? We good? All right, cool. But what I'm saying is like I don't get caught up. I don't get caught up with the semantics. You know, I think that's the proper word. You know, I'm big on words. I'm big on communicating. But like I said, if I'm in a particular argument and it seems like, you know, not to be funny, you know, sometimes when you argue with your lady or whatever, women that get caught up. Soon as you hit that wrong word, you know, and you want to now divert the content or the meaning or the essence of what we were supposed to be talking about, and now it's about that. So I think what he was trying to say is like, look, you know, these women are being a little excessive with what they're asking for in these times when it comes to those situations. Again, he may not have had a right to even speak on, because you're speaking on another man's pockets and another or other people's money. That ain't something I'm big on anyway.
Yeah, but it was mainly on the word itself. Uh,
Right.
you know what I'm
That's where I
saying?
guess the daughter got. That's where the daughter got offended, and so now I guess one of the questions is, well, Dr. Dre of all people and his wife, he's one of the four founders of utilizing this word in this culture. You know,
Yeah.
him, Too Short, a couple of others. Um, so the most, I think one of the most see, I'm big on words. I'm a word nerd. You know,
I'm all about words. Words are important.
words are important, and being impeccable with your word is one of the four agreements, but it's not necessarily an easy agreement to keep. So the thing about it is, one of the most powerful words I believe is the word jaded. And I feel like niggas is jaded because everyone's perspective, you know, is grown through their experience.
What do
So
you mean by
now,
jaded?
jaded, all right. So I always kind of like to use the example from one of the last Planet of the Apes movies when they did the remake with Caesar and Koba, for the people that
Okay.
have seen. Koba's experience with humans, his interaction with humans, um, it formed his opinion. So, but at the same time, it's not a complete picture of the totality of humans. But you couldn't make him understand his opinion is jaded. Whereas in Caesar grew up with another side of that. The same way when people's interaction, well, I grew up around nice police, or I grew up around good police, or I grew up around nice white people, I grew up around where I was right on the corner from the Klan. So everyone's thoughts about most experiences when you're speaking on another race, another gender, another tribe, you know, it becomes jaded. So then when you talk to two people, talk to someone that has a different view than your own, you kind of got to go into it and know, look, that's been your experience. This is my experience. Dr. Dre may have grew up on the word bitch, made money from the word
Millions,
bitch, but
millions.
now billions. But he maybe, but still, he grew up and now he's in a different space. I'm allowed to grow and say, hey, I don't really, you know, that ain't my vibe. But it wasn't even him. It was the wife or the daughter that felt like, hey, hold on, you know, if I felt like you're attacking my mom and calling her a bitch, I have a right to say so.
Okay.
You know, we can't just use, oh, Dr. Dre, oh, that's Dre, and you know, he made money off the word bitch. So how can they be offended? They're not Dr. Dre.
So
So that's my take on
would
that.
Dr. Dre, in your opinion, would Dr. Dre have room to stand on by saying, "Yo, why are you talking about why are you calling my ex-wife, whatever, whatever"?
I mean, he could, but I'm on a real type time, Kiko, and I think for me, it's like, yo, bro. First off, I really wasn't talking directly about your wife. I'm just saying in general, bitches be wildin'. Now, if you are so offended that I put your wife in that box, when I say bitches be wildin', there's some people that will get offended. There's even, you know, some blacks that, you know, be like, yo, niggas is crazy. And then it'd be like, hold on, I'm not a nigga.
Yeah.
Let's not refer to me that way. So I'm just being honest, right? So yeah, he could decide to be offended. You have a right to feel how you want to feel and be offended. But it's like, bro, I really wasn't saying, yo, it's not the same to me as, hey, your wife, she's a bitch.
Yeah,
It's not the same. It was just a general term of saying, yo, bitches is crazy.
yeah.
So words are important, but what you're if I'm gathering it right, the context by which you use those words are equally important.
Words, guess what? Words are important, but the essence and the spirit of which you do something is even more important in my world. So it's like, for example, you could do a nice thing for me, but if the spirit in which you do it was some bullshit, then I don't want you to do it. Whereas in there's somebody who couldn't do something for me, like our brother Moley. I use him as an example all the time. Back when I was really, really fucked up in the game and life, I slept on Moley's couch for a time in my life. But let's say I needed something and Moley couldn't do it. It would hurt him to his core that he couldn't help out.
Yeah.
But then there's a motherfucker that'll let you sleep on the couch, but they don't want to. They feel obligated or they talk shit. So the spirit in which you do something to me is more important than the words you use.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Words are important, and indeed. But like I said, if I say, yo, man, this motherfucker Kiko, that nigga crazy. Oh man, why I gotta be all that? It's like, bro, I just gave you love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The essence in which I did it was love, and the spirit of what 50 was saying is, yo, man, motherfuckers is wild. He's actually going to bat for Dre in that scenario, but
Yeah.
we're gonna try to overlook that because we want to get caught up in words. That's what I'm saying. Words are very important. I stand on that. Like I said, I'm big on that, but we can't overlook the spirit in which someone and their intentions. If I
So
know, yeah.
okay, so I guess and on the opposite side of that, a word that would be probably offensive to men, right? Would be for most men, would be uh, the homosexual word, but the cuss word homo word.
The F word.
Yeah, the F word. So in general, let's say that you were in a situation with your lady, and one of her friends says these, maggots be tripping because such and such, and now you're asking for this. Like, would on the contrary argument, you know what I'm saying? If it were that word directed at, let's say, somebody such as yourself, would you take that as a generally speaking thing, or would you be like, yo, did you just?
Well, again, see, when you comparing that, the difference is this: I'm not in the gay community. Now, that's the difference.
Okay, but hold
So,
on. But hold on.
let me answer though. The reason what I'm saying is there now. I've been around gay folks and things of that nature, or even women. You'll hear them refer to each other as, what I'm saying. So they'll, oh man, bitch, you crazy. There's a difference. I got a homeboy. He said, now, do you put it on the beginning of the sentence or the end of the sentence? Because that's where he draws his meaning. They be like, bitch, you crazy. That's different than you a crazy bitch. He gets that technical.
But on, I think her name is Nicole. On her argument is like, yo, I'm not in that category, son. Like, just like you're not in the homosexual community, she and her, like, yo, I'm not in that community.
Right.
What gives you the right?
Yeah, I mean, she has a right to stand on that and say, hey, I'm not of that. Don't refer to me in that way. She has a right to clarify her position. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, she's well within her rights to clarify her position, but that ain't going to really change the way he refers to women. That was how he referred to he was generalizing women. And from what I'm taking from the whole shit is, he's generalizing the women that are interacting when we talk about women and money. And that was this is the scenario that we're going into. You know what I'm saying? Usually when dudes will say something like, yo, these bitches is wilding, these bitches is crazy. And I'm just using the term, I don't necessarily speak like that or, consciously. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if I'm like, yeah, usually it's because there's something negative going on. Bitches is tripping, trying to keep my car, bitches is tripping. And that's usually, so yeah, if you don't fall into that, you have a right to, speak your piece. But I don't think it's about to change 50 Cent and rearrange his train of thought. She's just saying, hey, I'm not in that group. I know, like I said, a lot of brothers, blacks that don't get referred to in the N word. Like if I'm like, yo, that's my, it's like, bro, that's not me. I represent myself under another term, and that's fine.
Yo, when I was back in, man, 92, 93, bro, somewhere around there. Actually, no, it was when I first got to VCU. There was a back in VCU there was a lot of like 5%ers and things like that. You know what I'm saying, that I got really tight with back then. And ever since then, man, like me personally, I made it my personal goal never to use that word, period. Because even within the Hispanic community, growing up in New York, growing up together, it's almost like that's what everybody called each other anyways. There was no distinction per se in the hood when it came to Latinos, primarily Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and blacks.
I'm recording.
It just became the same thing. So I made I made it a conscious effort myself. My bad.
Okay.
I made it a conscious effort myself to not use that word in my vocabulary, the same way that I made it a conscious effort after some time never to call women out of their name either. But is that sort of self-check necessary as a whole within our culture and communities?
Gotcha.
I fall in with that. I grew up around a lot of my brothers and sisters where I was, they told me, yo, my nigga Rick, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, you don't really distinct as color in that community, in that environment that you grew up in. I've tried myself to better myself and not use the word myself. But when you get in that environment around your peoples, it's hard to.
It's a hard habit to cut.
It's a hard habit to cut. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the thing, man. Like I said, you definitely want to strive to be better about all of that because you want your children to be better. Right. But we grew up on a lot of bullshit, man, and I'm over tiptoeing and being on eggshells about saying shit that may or may not offend. If people know me now, when I get around different tribes, different folks, like I said, there's a lot of brothers that don't gonna get referred to in a certain way, but they still my nigga. If I don't care, then he be like, hey, don't refer to me as my nigga, because I think Ice Cube, he brought it up. Words can be a weapon or a tool. Everything could be a weapon or a tool. Now you could say, I even heard the word Mondays. I heard blacks being referred to as Mondays before. This is a real story. Why? Because everybody hates Mondays.
I've heard that too.
You've heard that too? Okay,
yes,
so boom, there it is.
Wow.
So my point is, you can't get so caught up in the actual word versus the intent. Now, tomorrow, Mondays can become viral. And now there's a group out here saying, hey, don't call us fucking. Like, bro, I'm good on that. And I love my brothers. I love my females out there. But, I may be in a situation. I'm very conscious of the words I say. But, bro, I'm not tiptoeing in what I say. You know what I'm saying? So, and people that know me know my spirit. And if you don't know me, and over time, you know what I'm saying, you just hearing me, that I will be more aware. But like I said, so overall, I think when he said what he said, and anybody's gonna defend their mom, period. I ain't knocking nobody for defending their mother, especially if you're not talking about my mother in the highest regard.
Yeah.
That's understandable. But I think they're putting the fact because it's Dre and because he made a living using words like this.
Yeah.
That's where it became funky. Like, hold on, are we being on some hypocritical?
Yeah.
Now, do you feel his daughter was best to stay out of that, or?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
me
again,
personally, I would have told my daughter, like, yo, just he's generalizing, you know what I'm saying? He ain't
exactly.
necessarily calling your mom. Because now it puts Dre in a certain situation to where, what if 50 comes back at his daughter? You know what I'm saying? As a man, you with a child, you can defend your child.
Mm.
So what are you saying? I mean, I'm hearing you, but I want to make sure I understand
Do, do
clearly.
you do you feel that you know
And
that his daughter was in the right in coming at 50?
Well, again, like I said, she's defending her mom. I ain't tripping on that. But the bottom line is, both of them, 50 or the daughter, don't really have it. You're speaking about a couple, two. It's just like this. You grew up with your uncle and your aunt. Your uncle is your uncle by blood. Your aunt is your aunt by marriage. But you love her. You grew up with her. You know what I'm saying? They're going through whatever they're going through. They're about to divorce. It's really no one's place. People all have opinions, man.
Right.
It's no one's place to get
But it's kind
involved in
of
that.
generalized, though. You know what I mean? It's kind of
But
generalized.
generally, somebody may jump out there and say something about it, and then the other person from the other side will hold on. Don't talk about my. You know what I'm saying? So it gets funky, and of course they're in the public eye. So they're in the public eye, so that's what makes it different. But yeah, ultimately people got to learn to stay out of people's business. you know, know when and when not to speak. I think we all kind of got to work on that. It's like, it's one of the three appetites. I read a book a while back. The appetites, the appetite for food, yeah, sexual appetite, and the appetite to always feel the need to express yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And basically knowing when to shut the fuck up is important. Um,
so
you know.
in this case, 50 Cent should have known when to check himself.
Right, but this is 50. He makes a living off of
But hold on. But that
he
but
makes a living off of not shutting the fuck up at the right time.
50
That's what
should
he
have
does.
shut up. 50 should have shut up.
Yeah.
That's not
But
that's
I
not
mean, that's what. Yeah,
that's not his business.
But to me, it was general. He didn't really necessarily call her a bitch. He just said, yo, that's a crazy number. Bitches be wilding. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
But that's what I'm
2
that's
mil
why
a month, though? Like,
that's why I
yeah,
asked about
he might have been, but it was general to me.
that's why I asked about the
Oh,
baggage statement. Like the
so
baggage
again,
statement.
we get into the literal. Oh, I use the word bitch versus the essence of what I'm saying is women be wilding when it comes to these numbers. So that's to me a more important conversation. So instead of having that conversation about is someone worth getting a certain amount of dollars for a certain amount of time, you'd rather have the conversation about. That's what I'm trying to say is like that's how this media thing works. Now we've diverted from, which is a big conversation because someone she's been with this. That's a very important conversation. Dre's wife has been, again, when I say jaded, right? That was the word I used earlier.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming from a perspective of, yeah, I'm entitled to a certain amount, and she could probably articulate why she feels entitled, why that number is not excessive. Dre, maybe on the other fence, jaded in his view, can articulate why. So instead of having that conversation, usually something happens to divert from those conversations to get into something about whether the word bitch, which is going to be around from here until
Mm-hmm.
is appropriate. And that's what I'm saying is we got to be careful when we, get into that. Freedom of speech is a motherfucker. People don't maybe like the words I'm using now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're 1,000,000% right. We have the freedom of speech, but we don't have the freedom from getting offended. It kind of like goes hand in hand. So if you want freedom of speech, you're gonna put yourself subject to to an offense here and there, because somebody can be saying something. What I'm talking about is it's related to that same thing, right? Because if and again, I'm just speaking about our culture. You know what I'm saying? Our culture, I like the way that we express ourselves about, to each other. If somebody, when we post this up,
Yeah.
and people leave in the comments, right?
Mm.
And if somebody puts in the comments, maggots always want to act like they know what's going on in 50 Cent's world.
Mm-hmm.
Posting videos about 50. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be like, yo, what?
I see me. First off, like, so if somebody said, and I don't know, I mean, how raw we being up here on this joint on this.
I'm just not. I just don't use
Yeah,
it.
that's you. Okay, so I'm just using it for, but so that, okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if somebody be like, "Yo, them faggots up there tripping talking about that," it don't trip on me because I'm not of that. Now, I guess if it stings you a little bit, maybe because you're in the community where that's been, I'm sure like Spanish people have certain trigger words like, "Yo, don't refer to me in that way." Now, I'm not Spanish, so those words may, you know what I'm saying? There's certain words in each community and each culture that may not be quote unquote cuss words, but it's still words that you do not want to hear reference to. You know what I'm saying? I know a few that I would never reference around y'all, my Spanish brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trip on that. So if somebody said that in the comments about us, it really wouldn't ring to me because what they say, if it don't apply, let it fly, all that good shit, right? But what I'm saying now, women and the word bitch, I don't know how to detangle that shit. You know what I'm saying? So if women are gonna trip every time they hear the word bitch, then it kind of get like how some people, white folks, say about blacks. Women, they refer to each other as bitch sometimes, a lot of times. So we pick we pick and choose when we want to be offended by whatever narratives. You know what I'm saying? So it gets funky, man. It gets funky, but like I said, at the core, anyone gonna have a right to defend their mom. I understand that. If you're not speaking about my mom in the most highest light, I don't care what words you use.
Yeah.
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. But again, I think a more important conversation is what 50's saying incorrect, and all these women tripping when they help. You know what I'm saying? Like, brothers get their money, like she was with old boy for however many years. So I think that's more important, but him using the word bitches be wilding. I mean, I don't want to say, to sound fucked up, but bitches be wilding. And that's just how I feel. Now, again, if you're not a bitch, then I ain't talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I know I got a few gay friends. I've worked with some guys, the coolest cats I've met. The thing about it is, even with them, they'll speak to me about different things, that may or may not offend them, but they're not as sensitive about certain things as people on the outside are.
Yeah.
The
outsiders are typically more offended for somebody than the person that was being offended.
They've lived with that word a little more. They breathed it. And what I was trying to say is kind of like, all women ain't bitches, but there are bitches in the world. There's man bitches. I know a lot of them. You know what I'm saying?
Do they wear man buns?
But bitch meaning, no, there's some bitch ass men that are bitches. So all bitches, men and women, need to be offended because the word is meant to offend.
Yeah.
Now, the same way with the F word. Not all. This is how I'm telling you from even speaking with gay coworkers and friends and stuff like that. Not like some gays feel like the F word is it's like the bitch version of the gay person. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's all like I said, it's all literal, man. But I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you chiming in right quick, man. And this Monday edition of the Jones Report. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate that. Now that's all love, man. I gotta bust this move, but
do your thing, brother.
Poor righteous teachers.
Poor righteous
yes, sir.
teachers. Too many.